What is up, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Over the past week has been one of the biggest debates of CDL or Call of Duty pros versus Warzone pros, all sparked by a bunch of random guys on a podcast that received, well, albeit viral, but also a lot of viral hate from pro players in this space. I thought you guys would maybe want to know what the Call of Duty pros had to say in response to this on the latest Optic podcast. Before that, though, in case you guys don't remember the viral take, or at least one of the takes that these two had that set off all of these pro players, here it is.
Do you think Biffle could do pretty well in the CDL?
Of course he could.
Hey,
a lot of CDL players always think they can't. I constantly see that argument. CDL players are always like maybe Biffle could compete, but he wouldn't even be close to a top player in the league. And it's like, they think he doesn't have the skill set. I'm sorry, I'll never agree with them, and I'll never fully understand their reasoning. But I think being the best Warzone player in the world is way more skillful than being the best CDL player in the world. Maybe that's a hot take for CDL players, but they act like there's so much strategy. You sit there and hold an angle and wait for some guy to run around the corner. How do you think Biffle would not be able to do that? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You literally sit there and hold an angle.
Yes.
It's not that hard. So much more thought goes into playing Warzone, so much more strategy over the length of the match.
And shortly in response to that, I mean, we also had a video on this channel, a couple of different videos. I even gave my full react, a 20-minute react video of all of the points they made and my thoughts on them. There was a lot of dumb things said, but at the same time, there was a lot of maybe some vein of truth things said by two guys giving their casual opinions about something that pro players are probably going to have more specific opinions on and probably more knowledge on, you know? And that includes me. Like, my takes aren't always the best. You guys know that, but here we are still digesting information. So here's what the Call of Duty pros had to say about that. First and foremost, comparing the Warzone pro player lobbies versus CDL lobbies. Like, when you go into the Call of Duty League, it's all Call of Duty pros. That is not always the case for every single Warzone tournament. For Call of Duty League, it's the top 50 of the best. For Warzone, there's a bit more variability, especially when it's like a kill race tournament. You guys know exactly what that means.
Can't believe the Warzone versus CDL thing's still real.
Dude, I'm tired of it.
What's wrong with these guys?
No, that's a fake ride. That's a fake fucking ride.
They think they can kill
I don't
Hydra?
think they do. I don't think they actually think that.
Like I said, my only issue with the whole thing is I don't know how deep the CD or the Warzone people take the game. Like, I don't know how deep they think.
These guys are fucking brain dead.
What I heard from them was like what
play.
I would hear from someone with a Twitter with no profile pic. They just made the account and they're like shit talking you.
Nate said
like
it
just
best
like
right here.
spewing nonsense just to like it's just like you have to remind yourself, wow, people like this do exist. Like there are people out there with this brain that think like this and believe this.
I can't blame them because it worked. If they don't believe it, it will. I think those guys actually do believe what they said, but essentially they were just this podcast. They were just like playing in Warzone is harder than playing in the CDL, and I'm just like, dude, do you not understand? Can you imagine go spawn in?
Then why wouldn't the Warzone players switch over?
See, the thing about Warzone is that all the teams in their lobbies are not good. There's some teams that are like heavy stacked, and then there's some teams that like you see on the map and you're like, run at them.
And more importantly, we have someone like Method saying that he thinks every single CDL pro could go pro in Warzone if they wanted to. The same could not be said for every single Warzone pro going pro in Call of Duty League. And that is something, outside looking in, that I agree with. I think a lot of people agree with that.
Like
In
yesterday
CDL,
when we
you're
were
not getting-
fucking...
There's like bad teams in the CDL, but they're not like that bad.
I mean, they're playing tournaments in...
There's no freebies.
I mean, never mind. I don't want to shit talk.
The reality
I fuck
is,
with the Warzone community.
listen, like, I don't want to like Warzone players are still very skilled, but like when you're talking about CDL, the difference is any single CDL pro right now can go pro in Warzone, whereas the opposite is not the same. Not every Warzone pro. There are a few outliers in Warzone that if they dedicated time, they have the talent that they could go pro.
But it's still no guarantee.
It's not impossible. No,
My
correct.
only argument yesterday was the fact that Scump won their tournament, and I know it was easy for them.
Yeah, people always use that.
And then they also talk about all of the current Warzone pros, some of the best in the world or some of the top earners in the world. Well, a fair handful or two of them are actually former Call of Duty players or pro players, just proving that if they all switched at once, all of the actual top players, they would very much be some of the best. I think Scump, though, really pinpoints what I was trying to, express. These are two different games. You have a battle royale and you have a shooter. Those are two very different games. Yes, some of the mechanics overlap, but at the end of the day, they are at the very least two very different game modes, which require a different skill set to some degree. So what's the point of comparing these at all? You know?
Well, here's the other argument that someone tweeted me, and I was like, holy fuck, yeah, I'm done talking about this. They're like, Tommy's the #1 earner.
Yeah,
he was
former
a CDL.
CDL.
That's all I needed to hear.
Rated was
I was like, I
running-
didn't even know that. Never mind.
Rated was running
It's over.
shit.
There's no debate.
It's basically, and to be honest, I actually don't think any Warzone player thinks this way. I think it's all like Warzone fans. I don't think like any player is like disrespecting CDL at all.
Yeah,
and everyone's
I've never
like,
seen a player
oh,
like...
do a show match. It's not possible, man. I mean,
The Warzone pros,
CDL
no,
pros
bro. It's
will get
just
slammed in Warzone.
the idiot Warzone fan. The Warzone pros, no.
I mean, some of them
None of them are that.
Some of them are probably delusional in their head. I respect it, but...
They're also completely different games. Like,
yeah.
they're different. It's a different skill set. It's a different game. They're not even comparable. Like, one is a BR and one's an arena fucking shooter. They're not comparable. It's Call of Duty at the end of the day, but they're not comparable. They are completely different assets.
They did set this puts it in perspective. Say you land Lowtown on Urzikstan, take the size of that drop zone and now cut that whole area in half. You just spawned in there for 10 minutes against 4 players as good or better than Biffle and try to get in a hill for 250 seconds before they do. No smokes, no third parties, you just squaring up against 4 of the best players in the world. Would you rather do that on stage for 1 million, or would you rather run for 20 minutes on a map the size of Narnia, avoiding gunfights and praying to God you get circle pull on final zone? Honest and sincere question. He fucking cooked with that one. You think he
I
cooked?
think
Yeah,
those guys were like responding to him as well.
that was great.
If the Warzone pros are better or whatever, they would switch to CDL.
That's not true, because they probably make more money playing Warzone and being able to stream, because the CDL it's a very big time commitment. Unless you're like a top CDL player and getting like an actual, like a good, like top salary in the CDL, like it wouldn't even make sense for them, because CDL pros, you can't stream for 7 hours of the day. Warzone players, you can stream anytime you want. Like in
the grand scheme of things, Warzone players probably winning, but
I mean, I don't know how much Warzone pros
like
are
as
making,
far as
but...
like being able to play their game and make money all day and make a career out of it. Like, I mean, sure, like the CDL pros are getting a salary, but like big Warzone streamers compared to like
they're making
you know, you get what I'm saying?
More.
Yeah.
They're probably making more just because not being able to stream and not being able to produce any content throughout the day, and you're only worried about scrimming. Like, it doesn't even make sense for Warzone players to do it, at least the top ones.
But hey, at the end of this, can we just not sit back and realize that it was 2 random dudes just on a podcast talking about a topic that they believe in, whether dumb or not, however you see it. They got some good traction, and everyone else got some great impressions and content out of this, and we re-sparked the debate that has been had over the past 2 years. Like, it's kind of a win-win, man. I got no hard feelings. I actually really enjoy reading everyone's opinions because everyone is so goddamn different, dude. Like, there are some people out there that don't even watch Call of Duty League, and they're like, you know, here's how I feel, and vice versa. And we're just all sharing opinions and hopefully hoping that someone else out there agrees with us. That's all we're doing at the end of the day. So till next time, take care. I got to wash this cup eventually, more importantly, but take care of yourselves, all right? We'll see you back here soon. Bye.